It's Ruth and her truth. I have a story time I want to tell. This is me at 17 years old. Who would have known a year later that my mother would pass away? That is my first child. Who would have known that same year later I would find out that when my daughter's father, a month or two before this picture was taken, I was 9 months pregnant, got incarcerated, and a year and some change later, I will find out he's serving 95 years in prison. This right here is my daughter at my mother's funeral. This is my brother holding her, and my sister, rest in peace, in the back, who would die a year after this baby dies. I would then, by the time she's 4, have met my children's father, who I spent 13 years with and had 6 children with. She's the only one who doesn't have the same dad. This was my birthday. My daughter would end up passing away at 16 years old. I look at pictures like this. I have my moments. This past week, I've been staying up till probably 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, just in my thoughts, having a hard time. She was so beautiful. And around this age right here, she had to be 12. Maybe a year or two later, I would end up leaving my children's father, who I spent 13 years with. But that child was going through so much. I was in a hard place trying to figure out, do I stay? Do I leave? Will he go back to being the person I fell in love with? This girl loved him so much. He was a great dad to her for a while. Then he just started being nasty. He would tell my children, I don't love them, I only love her. He would say things like, my kids aren't going to turn out like her, when she was doing little stupid stuff, getting in trouble for running her mouth in class. Little dumb stuff like that. She was an honor roll student, kept good grades. She was so sweet. Anybody that knows her knows. She was a girl's girl. She was so amazing. We had our ups and downs. You know, being a mom, having a teen, going through stuff like telling her to slow down, don't rush to grow up. I would have never thought in a million years that 2 years later, after taking this picture, I would walk in my house after working a 12-hour shift, and my children being with their narcissistic father. They spent 2 days not being able to speak to me and their sister. She was home alone and invited someone over to my house who I'd already threatened, because maybe the week before she passed away, I came home like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. She didn't know I was coming home. And this boy was at my house, and I threatened him where I was like, make this your first and your last time. She's 16 years old. You're 20, 21. Make this your first and last time me catching you in my house. I would have never known. Never thought. I had to look at stuff like this, and she would just be a memory. She loved her siblings so much. She really did. She loved the beach. Every summer, I'd take my stamps, pack up some coolers, and we'll spend the day at the beach. She loved being at the beach. She loved being with her siblings. She was such a big help to me because I ended up leaving their dad a year before she passed away, probably a year and a half. I had enough to find out the things my children were going to. He kept going through. He kept cheating. He was being mean and nasty to her. The last straw was him getting upset that she came back and told me that he was talking about me to my niece. I didn't even know he had a problem. And my daughter told me, because I was buying him a car, that he said once he get a car, he was leaving. This was the worst day of my life. Walking in and finding her was horrible. But the fact that that casket right there, that would be the last time I'd be able to physically have her here. I would physically be able to see her. To now having my ex, and even before this happened, I had to bar him from her funeral, to him now telling my children he's upset that he has a warrant out for his arrest, where I pressed charges on him for putting an air tag in my children's clothes. He missed court. He has to turn himself in. He's now saying, oh, he's going to go talk to the police officers about her death. And he wants me to get in trouble for my daughter passing. He wants to have a conversation with detectives that dealt with her case to put the blame on me, her mother. Her mother, who till this day is fucked up. I'm fucked up. I'm hurting. And I have to keep pushing through to be there as a mom for my kids. I have to keep myself pushing for myself, because if I were to stress myself to death, what would my children have? And to know I have children, 6 children, with a man that wants to see me go to jail for something I had nothing to do with. I did not gain anything in my daughter dying. I get a script. I have never took a herb and gave to my child. I would never do something like that. And to know that I was at work, my medication comes from the pharmacy. I wish I could have been the one to give her, knowing that it came from the pharmacy. She would still be here. I wish that was the case. The fact that that day is embedded in my brain, the way she looked, the colors of her fingertips, her eyes, the smell of the Hennessy on her breath, doing CPR, what felt like forever. And you want to put the blame on me? No one can tell me that jail, I would rather be in jail than have to live the life that I'm living right now with her being gone. Yeah. Give me the 95 years that her dad is serving and let her still be here. And the fact that my kid's dad is saying this to our children, like they don't suffer. I had to put them in therapy after their sister passed. I had to put them in therapy after I left him, and to have conversations with their father that he wants me to go to jail for their sister's passing, when he know I had nothing to do with it. But the torture and pain that I go through already is not enough. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?